Hello, you're very welcome to Newry's Destination Newry here on a Wednesday evening. Hello to Charlie.
Hi, Damien.
Hello to Jarlath and Justin. How are you? Before we start, lad, I'm going to read the news out, but I'm just going to put this out to you. The London ladies have not been allowed into the Ladies' Championship, but the men have. So maybe that's a wee thing we'll talk about. So I'm just going to give you a quick synopsis on the news here. No further deaths were reported by the Department of Health in Northern Ireland. The total remains at 551, and there were no deaths recorded in the Republic of Ireland. There still stands at 1,735, and the total for the island of Ireland is 2,286. The UK coronavirus death toll rose by 176, bringing the total to 43,906. In Scotland, it still sits at 4,119 deaths linked to the coronavirus. In Wales, 6 more people are reported to have died in Wales, bringing their total to 1,516. Newry Morning Down, coronavirus, 358, same as yesterday, with 46 deaths. And Armagh City Banbridge in Craigavon, 749, and with 83 deaths in that area as well. A 13.25 million funding package will help secure the future of community pharmacy, Northern Ireland Health Minister said. Robert Swan said the investment would help address historical challenges faced by this sector. Mr. Swan said, I am very pleased to be able to announce this investment in community pharmacy, which has responded promptly and professionally in the COVID-19 emergency response. The funding is being made available up until next March, which is good news to our local pharmacies. Charges being levelled are political point scoring, says O'Neill. Michelle O'Neill was grilled at the Storming Committee over her attendance at a large funeral yesterday. She was at Bobby Story's funeral. And can you discharge the role of your joint head of government with authority after this? She was asked, and she said, I absolutely can. I stand over my actions. She adds, she said she is sad her actions in attending the funeral of Bobby Story were within the regulations. I brought the regulations in, so I believe in the regulations, she said. She also said that Mass and the cortege followed the hearse all adhered to social distancing guidelines. I'm satisfied my actions are within the regulations and within the public health guidance. My actions, I stand over them, she says. EU must prepare for a possible Brexit deal can't be reached, says Michel Barnier. The European Union must prepare for the possibility that talks for a deal with the UK over their future relationship could fall. Reached. She made her comments as Germany's European biggest economy takes over the presidency of the 27-member bloc. The UK officially completed its delayed departure from the European integrated project on the 31st of January. London and Brussels have now until the end of December to strike a brand new agreement or end their half-century relationship without specific plans for how they intend to trade or coexist in other fields. Without a new agreement, they would see ties reduced to minimum standards set by World Trade Organization with high tariffs and serious disruptions to business. And of course, that will have a big effect here. But anyway, that's the news. So I would have to say hello to Charlie and Justin and Jarlath. And before we go to Charlie, just I did say that the London ladies, and I do see Niamh Murphy from Mullaban, she was the captain. And we did interview her on Destination Newry a couple of years ago when they won a championship. They're not in it. You know, Justin, that's not fair. The men's in, but the ladies aren't.
Well, I'm gonna say something here now. I had the pleasure of being invited to the Irish Embassy in London last year for the launch of the All British GA Championships for both men and women, and it is by being there with all of the individuals from all the different clubs right around the UK in the embassy. It's so important for them to get the opportunity to have the platform to play within those championships, and I just can't understand what the rationale is behind the decision. I'm sure the LGFA will give some form of a reason for it, and it may be plausible, but I've yet to hear it. You know, I would be, you know, some of the decision making within the LGFA sometimes I find it hard to understand. Like, I would be controversial enough to more or less say, why can we not get all GA football under the one banner, run by the one organisation, rather than having these splinter organisations? Because it doesn't do well for the diaspora, who who really depend so much on driving the culture of the games in foreign lands, and they're not getting the opportunity because of this decision.
Absolutely agree. What do you think of that, Charlie? You would agree with that, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to see it all come under one association instead of the two separate ones. Just on the men's football, as you said, Damien, being allowed to enter the All Ireland Championships and the ladies aren't. If you're not going to let one in, you can't let the other in. So it's not okay just to say, right, the men's are invited into the competition and the ladies aren't. If one reason should be standing for both teams, it doesn't matter if it's LGFA or men's football. So I'd have to agree with Justin totally, yeah.
And Jarlath, I would assume you would agree.
Yeah, absolutely, Damien. I'm hearing this now actually for the first time, so I'm not sure of the detail, but fully concur there with what Justin said. The importance of Gaelic games to the diaspora, be that in the United Kingdom or in the furthest reaches of Asia, cannot be understated. And I mean, like, this is has own goal written all over it for this decision here. So,
well, I'm going to read out. I'm going to read out a tweet from Niamh Murphy from Mullaban. As a former London captain, it saddens me to see that there is still inequality in sport. London ladies thrown out of the ladies football championship, yet the men's football and hurling team can play. So this is coming from a former captain of the ladies football team. So it's a story maybe we haven't heard the end of it yet, so at least we talked about it here tonight. But anyway, we're going to go to Charlie, because Charlie has to be on the football field for 7:15. Charlie, I don't think you're going to make it for 7:15, but take it away there and tell us what's happening in round the gateway to the mornings.
Cheers, Damien. I have to get the train, so I'll make it short and sweet. The first thing I'm just going to mention is that last week was the last week that our primary 7 pupils down in St Paul's and Cabra and St Patrick's, Hilltown, were in school, and they're going to be going on to their new schools in September. Hopefully, all being well, it'll all go ahead. So everybody in the club would just like to wish our best to them and wish them good luck in their new schools, and hopefully they enjoy it as much as I'm sure they enjoyed their time in St Patrick's and St Paul's. The second thing I'm just going to go over again is that we've been covering a couple of weeks now is the Clonduff 2020 kilometer challenge. Just again that it's starting today, but it's still not too late to sign up. We've got over 120 people signed up so far, which is great numbers, and a lot of people have agreed to get their steps in and get their kilometers walked for the great cause of fundraising for the 2 charities mentioned on the poster. Cal has it up, the Southern Area Hospice and St Vincent de Paul. So we just ask people again to get in touch with Clonduff's email. I think it's in the post before, and just let them know your name and how many steps you'd like to complete for the challenge, and hopefully we'll get the 2020 kilometers racked up well by Sunday. So just again, it's not too late to sign up. Get in touch through email or Facebook Messenger account. Either is fine, and we'll get you added to the list. Okay, so as we've already over 120 people signed up, it'd be great if we can get even more and raise even more money for 2 great charities. The league fixtures were announced, and our seniors found out their group, and our first league game has been brought forward to the 17th of July, just over 2 weeks away against Kilcoo. Everybody in the club is looking forward to that, and just to get everybody back, and for people in the club that have missed football so much over the past number of months, it's great to actually have a date and a game to look forward to. So just like to mention the 17th of July, the first league game at home versus Kilcoo to start off the 2020 year. And the GA have released the COVID questionnaire, which needs to be submitted by players, mentors, parents, everybody involved, committee members. Anytime you want to go down to the field, you need to have your questionnaire completed. Okay, so you only have to complete it once and resubmit it every time on the day that you're looking to go down to the field. So we had to do it this morning for training tonight to make sure that everybody's safe and ready to go back to training. and if it's not, then you're just asked to self-isolate for whatever number of days, depending on conditions. I'll just finish up with a few birthdays, but firstly, would like to pay our respects to the McGinn family, as Lachlan McGinn tragically passed away this afternoon, and would just like to pass on our deepest condolences to the McGinn family and extended family. Just a couple of birthdays. Would like to wish Kieran McGreevy a happy birthday, Eamon O'Reilly and Rebecca Musson. And I see Cahill had it up there, the layout that the club have come up with for the safe return to the pitches and the club rooms. So we have exit and entry points, we have hand sanitising stations. We're asking people to enter by the small gate, parents to drop their kids off in the top car park, and senior and minor players to park in the chapel car parks. We're asking people to walk on the left, and so when you're entering, you're walking on the left, and as you leave, you're walking on the left. And this is just to make sure everybody's in line with the guidelines that we've been given. So that's all from Clonduff for this week. So thank you very much, Damien and Cahill.
Charlie, I know you have to get to the football field, so away you go. And I see you have the jersey on there, so you're ready to run. Thanks a million, Charlie.
Cheers,
Good
Damien.
luck, and
thank you.
All goes well for you. And then we're going to go down to Burren. So, Justin, tell us, and it's great to know that you were in the embassy in London, and that's nice to know, because this is a big story about the ladies, Justin, and I'm trying to get the statement from the ladies Gaelic in London. I'm trying to get it to Cal here, but I'm having problems. But listen, it is a story that we could hear more
absolutely.
of.
It is, and but to be fair to the LGFA, we got to give them the right to reply as well before we would actually make full comment on the decision. But looking at it from afar, it seems to be very, very short-sighted. As I said, you would not believe the passion that people in London, Manchester, Birmingham, right up to Glasgow, Edinburgh have for Gaelic games. It's unbelievable, and you just have to see in Fela this last year, just a year ago, Fela was down in County, where was it? County Galway, and South London got to the Division 1 final of Fela. So it just shows you, there is so much that we can do in these foreign clubs in terms of.
I've always found, Justin, that to be involved in a Gaelic club away from home is a link back to here, and you're never on your own. So listen, it is a story, and I think we'll probably hear more of it. So listen, tell us what's happening in round Bourne.
Yeah, again, I'm going to have to race down to the pitch myself. Unfortunately, I'm past the playing stage, but I just want to give you sort of just heads up as to what's happening in Bourne at the moment. From a GA point of view, obviously, Charlie has already highlighted the fact that competitive games are available to be played from the 17th of July, and that's a position that's consistent in both in the north and the south. Now contact training is now permitted, as we know, as of last Monday night. Now the challenge you have in the north is that we're limited to groups of 30 participants, and that does not permit us to be able to have challenge games at present. Now I know that Ulster GA are working with the Department of the Communities in terms of trying to get that overturned. But as Charlie did mention, the news that we gave last week in terms of the format of the actual all-county Premier Leagues from a Division 1 point of view, everything has been pulled forward 2 weeks. So rather than starting those leagues on the 31st of July, they're now starting on the 17th of July. Two groups of 5. So in Group 1A, you have Kilcoo, Clonduff, Rostrevor, Warren Point and Bryansford. And in Group 1B, you have Burren, Loughlin Island, Mayobridge, Ballyholland and Carryduff. And the plan is to have 3 rounds played before the championship starts. Another round played after the championship, and then we're in a situation where the league final will then be up for a result between the winners of Division 1A and Division 1B, and that's proposed to be played on the 18th of October. I'm delighted to say as well that all county Premier Reserve football will begin on the 18th of July, which is great, because there's a lot of people waiting to get the opportunity to get on the field of play. Looking at all of the juvenile competitions from a male and female point of view, again, they're looking very, very good as well. So we're in a situation as of the middle of July, we'll have an awful lot of competitive football for all age groups and all gender codes, which is great. One thing I wanted to just mention as well is that, and the great news is that just seeing in the Irish news yesterday, is that the Danske Bank Macquarie Cup final, which had to be postponed because of the COVID situation, now we're in a situation where that should be played between the 9th and the 16th of October, which is great. If you remember, as far back as 2001, during the foot and mouth disease issue, the final of the Macquarie Cup wasn't played. So we're going to be in a situation where, in the middle of October, St Coleman's College will be up against St Pat's Mahara for the Macquarie Cup, which is great. In terms of getting us ready to and having all of the plans in place to get us back to play. Obviously, you see what Clonduff have done in terms of the aerial photography of access in and out of the grounds. It's very, very important to get all of that right. I want to give special thanks to Brendan Carty of Cologne Distillery, who, in conjunction with Norbrook, have donated hand sanitizer to the Burren Club ahead of our return to play. And not only Burren Club, but all other clubs as well. So again, thanks to Brendan Carty of Cologne Distillery from that point of view. From the point of view of just fundraising, I mentioned last week that boy Charlie Rafferty, he was going to shave all his hair off last Sunday to raise £500 for the Newry Hospice. I'm delighted to say at 5 p.m. today, I haven't got the photographs, but hopefully I'll be able to show them next week, that he was in the Southern Area Hospice at 5:30 today, handing over a cheque of £1,300. So really well done to Charlie. And again, thanks to everybody who supported him throughout his fundraising event. And the final thing I just want to mention is great news. There's the confirmation for Carrick Primary School, that again was postponed, has now been rescheduled for Tuesday the 18th of August and Wednesday the 19th of August. And Anne Cassidy, the head teacher, is delighted to get the opportunity to bring the children back together for this special occasion, and we'll give out further details as we get closer to that date as well. So, Damien, that's all I have now. Thanks for the time again, and we will catch up again soon.
We'll not keep you, Justin, because I know you're going to the field, but we have to say congratulations to young Charlie, raising £1,300, a young fella. So well done, I suppose, the hero of the week in Burren. So well done, Justin. We'll let you get to the field, and then we'll go on down to Rostrevor, to the shores of Carlingford, and we'll speak to the legendary Jarlath Tinley. And Jarlath, you have a lot to talk about tonight. You have videos and you have stories, and of course, you're a man of well renowned down that part of the world. And we were talking about Ross's statue, or the big peaky thing before you come into Rostrevor. He was the boy that burned the White House. That's a story on its own. So Jarlath, take it away.
Yes, Damien, good to be with you again this week. First story up this week, we touched on it last week, was the primary 7 pupils that had their drive-through send-off from primary school. I touched on it briefly last week, Damien, that these children were sort of denied their rite of passage, but we'll let Chahal run this short video here, and I don't think he's going to run it for the whole time, but this will actually, when the carriage is coming up the hill there, I'll continue to talk over it. So the children gathered in the back of the club last Friday night. It was a beautiful evening, and they come up through the village there, beeping and blowing, as you will see, and they come round into the front of the new school, where they were handed their sort of farewell gifts, which included school hoodies. So it was a fantastic event, and it was something that it would give them children a happy memory of their last interaction with the school, because obviously they lost their last 3 months in the classroom. So a fantastic turnout, great involvement and enthusiasm from the parents, and a wonderful job by the staff of the school who really bought into the spirit of the occasion. And you'll see now in a wee second that they had put up bunting, and they had put up different colourful banners around the school, just to make it that wee bit more special. So hopefully the camera will sort of show that there now. So that pretty much is what happened there. And all done and dusted then within the space of an hour, and I think a great time was had by all, Damien. So I move on. A related story. Mrs. Gloria Mulholland, Vice Principal of St. Bronus, has decided to call it a day. Now, Gloria is one of the famous Murdoch family from Burren, married to local man Thomas Mulholland. Gloria was for many years a teacher in Clontarfleece School over in Burren Parish as well. And before that, I'm led to believe in Seaview and Warrenpoint. But there is unanimous view out there that Gloria is, if there was such a thing as a perfect teacher, it was Gloria. She was a caring and well-respected teacher who treated every child the same. And as I put up in a wee post of a tribute of my own at the end of last week, there's not much more a parent can ask than that. So my thanks to Gloria for all that she has done over the years, and I hope she has a very, very happy retirement. Third issue, gas pipeline at the Moygallen area between Rostrevor and Warrenpoint, Damien. It may be one that you have come across. There's been absolute traffic chaos there in the past sort of 2.5 to 3 weeks, and it's a company from Belfast that are putting in natural gas out as far as the Moygallen area. Now, I was on the case last weekend because I had been getting quite a number of calls from very irate drivers that felt the whole sequencing of the lights and all was out of sync, and there seemed to be days there where there was very few people on site, and then some days there was nobody on site. But I have to tell you, to do jobs like this here, particularly where you have lights situated on a blind corner, there's never going to be a perfect system in place that satisfies everybody. But following the representations that I made to the company in question earlier this week, I was delighted with their response, a proactive response it has been. They've been open and transparent, and as a result of the interventions I made, they were able to shorten the site. They were also able to shorten the time frame when the lights be on red at both sides, that time that's normally allocated to allow traffic to clear. And there's an additional light has been put into the Moygallen Road. Now, this may not be the cure for all the ills either, because there is times of the day, Damien, naturally, in one or either direction where the volume of traffic is going to increase for a period. But just to summarize, the site has been shortened, and the length of time the cars wait on either side has also been shortened. So, and also after 5 o'clock, they will be vehicle activated. So I'm hoping that this new system will bed in. The guys intend to clear the site completely, including the barriers, on the 10th of July, and the road will be reopened completely until they come back on the 20th of July. And then they have allocated another 3 to 4 weeks beyond that to finish their work. So very, very important work. I mean, it goes without saying, to have a building site while there's moving traffic immediately adjacent is not an ideal scenario, but it is the best alternative to closing a road completely, which in this case would be totally unacceptable. The contractor's doing their best. People just be a wee bit more patient, and could I just request and ask people not to be jumping the light, because that has a knock-on effect for everybody. But enough on that one for now. Another wee issue I had talked about 2 or 3 weeks ago was the fly tipping in the graveyard in Cabroni Cemetery. And I had the council officials out on site, and we decided they were going to clear what had been tipped and sort of flatten the area out, get a JCB in, and then erect fencing. So I'm glad to say that wee bit of work is progressing. believe it or not, when I spoke to the foreman of that particular council crew last Friday, he told me there was actually a shortage of fencing boards right throughout the country, and the local hardware supplier there in Greenbank that they were using were waiting on an order of 5,000 boards. But now, that there picture that you're looking at, Damien, it tidies that area up. The only thing now has to be fitted is the gates, and I'm hoping that people will be happy enough there with the outcome, because it'll certainly tidy that lower end of the graveyard, and I hope discourage anybody that would even be contemplating additional fly tipping in that area. Right, this weekend, of course, is a very, very long-awaited and special date, which is the reopening of the bars and stroke restaurants. And I suppose I'll not get away with it if I don't mention my own brother's bar, because I seen he had a Facebook post up earlier. The Clockmore Inn reopens this Friday night. So in the village, the big one on the corner, a lot of people, I would suggest them just go onto the Facebook page, because there is government guidance there that has to be adhered to, and it goes without saying things just will not be the same again. Now, that also goes, Damien, for restaurants, and we have some fantastic restaurants in and around the village that have been opened within the past 10 years or so, and it's an incredible place for Rostrevor to come for something to eat. But I took myself down to speak to the staff of the Rostrevor Inn, just to see what they were planning to do, and I got a small bit on video. I'm hoping Cahill might be able to play it, but it goes without saying, 3.5 months has been an incredibly long wait for the hospitality business, and all those people, I am quite sure, have bank repayments to make and staff to look after, and it's very, very difficult to keep the thing fresh. But everybody is geared up and running again, and we'll play a wee bit of this and see how we get on. You join me today. I am in the beautiful Rostrevor Inn in Bridge Street, Rostrevor, and I'm joined here by owner Seth Linder and Dorothy McVeigh, manageress. Now, it has, of course, been a very, very long 3 months for the hospitality industry, particularly restaurants. And I really wanted to come down here today to speak to Dorothy and Seth, because the Rostrevor Inn, in the short number of years it has been open, has made an incredible positive impact on this village. So, Seth, you have a reopening date, I believe, and hopefully we've all turned the corner. Do you want to tell us what's happening?
Yeah, well, we're open on July the 8th, which is a Wednesday, open for dinner in the evening, and then we're open now 5 days a week. So we're just getting ready now. We're very excited about reopening, and while obviously the priority is to keep our customers and staff safe, we're also going to do everything we can to keep the same ambience atmosphere that we were well known for. So there's a lot of work to do, but we're very excited about reopening. We won't have partitions or anything like that, but we will have screen protectors at the bars, things like that. Hygiene is absolutely essential now, so there's a lot of things we're putting in place to keep people safe, but we're also doing everything we can to keep the welcome as atmospheric as possible. And we're really looking forward to it. We've got a few changes, a few things we're introducing to the menu, and as I say, it's been a long time waiting, but we're really excited to go ahead now, and we're looking forward to seeing our old friends again.
Okay, so thank you very much, Jerry. I suppose one of the attractions that I always found with the Rostrevor Inn was you had a fair amount of space, but it still was very, very homely. Have you had to move, or have you lost many tables in relation to the reopening, or are you going to try and keep it the way it was?
Well, Jarlath, we're lucky in so far as that we don't have to put partitions up. We're down probably about 3 or 4 tables We've lost maybe about 15% of our capacity, but we still have the stables and the bar area to eat in as well.
Yes,
So we
okay.
have.
Okay.
So we probably haven't really lost anything.
Very good.
Myself and the staff are really looking forward to getting back to work again.
Yeah.
And on that note, it's just going to be a booking purpose, so it is. So we know each night what we can deal with from bookings.
Okay, so you've been encouraging people to book?
To book, yeah.
To refer to your Facebook page?
To refer to the Facebook page for all the opening hours and our phone numbers and also our email address as well.
Okay. Well, it remains for me to tell you I wish you all the best in your reopening, and it'll be good to see Rostrevor in lighting the lights in the window again and having a few about the place. And hopefully that's the start of our summer season in Rostrevor. Whatever way that's going to be different, we just have to deal with it, but it's glad to see it open. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
All right, Cathal, thank you very much for that. And no doubt on behalf of Seth and Deirdre, Damien, they'll be very grateful for that wee video as well, and allowing it to play through. The next thing I wanted to talk about was I've been given a lot of thought the past couple of days. There's a good friend of mine, Damien, is currently in hospital, Lisa Cooper, and I was giving it a wee bit of thought over the past couple of days that I wanted to put a post up to wish Lisa all the best, because things haven't been going right for her over the past 12 months. And I decided to do that last night, and I put a post up to wish Lisa all the best. And the response, and I asked people to consider leaving their own messages. And when I looked there before I come on, there was 375 messages have been left, and there's over 10,000 people had engaged in the post. So Lisa is if there was ever any doubt about Lisa's popularity, she can be in absolutely no doubt now. I know she is currently in Daisy Hill, and up until yesterday there was no visiting. So I'm hoping that when she sees that thread on Facebook and some of the beautiful messages that people have left, that it'll really lift our spirits. And by doing so, we all hope to see her back out and about fairly soon. There's two birthdays I want to mention next. One is Thomas Baker McCann, the famous baker out of Warren Point. It's Tom's birthday today, and my best wishes and happy birthday to Baker. And the second one is, and I would get absolutely beat round the lugs if I didn't mention this one, is my own mother-in-law, and that's not her, Cathal. I have no idea who that is. Sheila Clerkin. Sheila's birthday today, so my happiest birthday to Sheila. And I'm in some trouble now because I don't know where that photograph came out of. Anyway, a couple of celebrations then for a couple of happy local couples. Denise and Mark McAvoy had first-time parents and were blessed with twins, a wee boy and a wee girl. And also my congratulations to Paddy and Margaret, the doting grandparents, the McAvoys, because after, I think that's five or six boys, that's the first wee granddaughter into the McAvoy family. So my congratulations to Margaret and Denise, and also to Cathal and Maria Fern, who are also first-time parents and also had twins, in this instance, twin boys. So my congratulations to Cathal and Maria, and thankfully everybody as well, and everybody's home and doing well. And finally, a big golden anniversary celebration, and my heartiest congratulations to the King of Kilfagan, Mark Brennan, and his lovely wife Anne, who were married 50 years ago yesterday, June the 30th. So, I'm going to let you listen to Big Tom, and I'm going to be quiet, and then I'll come back in, Damien.
Their young years have passed them by. I can see they're growing older day by day. Yes, they're living in the sunset years of life. Heaven bless them through the years of man and wife. Not one moment of regret, and there's lots to live for yet. Yes, they're living in the sunset years of life. The loved us kids, no one but us could know. I remember endless times that told us so. One by one we all left home. Now we have families of our own, but their home is our special place to go. Yes, they're living in the sunset years of life. Heaven bless them through the years of man and wife. Not one moment of regret, and there's lots to live for yet. Yes, they're living in the sunset years of life.
There you are, Damien. Now, I can imagine the celebrations yesterday. I can only think that they were absolutely fantastic, because with the things easing off with the lockdown and so on and so forth, and there's such a big, beautiful family with loads of grandchildren, loads of children, and I can just imagine what the celebrations were like last night. So again, my heartiest congratulations to Mark and Anne, and it's good to see you in such good health after such a long married life. That's me, Damien, for this week.
Well, Jarlath, great to hear Big Tom there, you know. And I'm sure you went to the fairways and all that and Castle Blaney to see him through the years. But what a way to finish the show with a Big Tom song. You couldn't beat it. And of course, then get the wrong picture as well.
Oh.
That's why I love live TV. Things happen. But Jarlath, before you go, I want to pick your brains, because last week you did tell me, and you spoke to me at the start earlier on before we come on air, that you're part of the Ireland's Ancient East. And you were telling me that Mullingar is being put on the tourist board by the Southern government, or the Southern Tourist Board, as Ireland's Ancient East. Yet we can't get this part, and you're part of Down integrated into that, and that's a strange one. And I think we should be.
Yeah,
Damien, something about that.
There's no doubt about that. I sit on a cross-border committee between our own council and Louth Council, and sometimes you sit and you be talking about initiatives and projects of mutual understanding, you know, and you realise, and I have said this on more than one occasion, there's nothing that this part of southeast Ulster, we'll call it South Down, South Armagh, has got in beauty that is on a par with anything anywhere else in the island, including the Ring of Kerry and places like that. And it is totally underutilised, because we're in a situation here where the authorities north of the border seem to shove all the resources and the money towards Belfast and the north coast, and then we're the forgotten man with regards the Dublin government as well. But I remember coming across this about Athlone and Mullingar and places like that I would have regarded as in the centre of Ireland. We're actually part of Ireland's Ancient East. And then when you think about Gullion and the story of Cuchulainn and our own national saint reputedly buried in St. Patrick, and all that story about what we have on our doorstep, but still no, that's different. It's not even talked about. You know,
you couldn't actually write that, you know, if you were to think about it. You know, when you think about we've got, like, there's a grave in Tapasleaf Gullion older than the pyramids, right? And we talked about this in Destination Newry on Monday night, older than the pyramids. And we've got, as you said, St. Patrick buried in Downpatrick, and they seem to forget about all these things. But Jarlath, I think yourself and myself will have to get our heads together and start rocking and start banging a few heads together to get them talking, because this is really, like, since Monday night, I've got a little bee in my bonnet about all this, and I think it's time that we stood up and started to rattle the saber and start talking and telling them, get yourselves sorted out here. We have a better part of the world to come to than any other. I mean, yeah, you talked about the Ring of Kerry, you talk about the Giant's Causeway, you talk about the caves in Fermanagh, but we've got all this here on our doorstep, and most of it's free, and it's just a shame. But Jarlath, maybe that's a story for itself some night on its own. So Jarlath, thanks a million, and I hope Lisa does well in the hospital, and I think with getting her a little bit of a mention tonight here, and she's 379 shout outs on our Facebook. And again, Destination Newry will be doing another little piece of history with Una Welsh on Monday night at 7:30. Last Monday night we had a phenomenal response to it, and the stories that we're hearing, we went, Jarlath, from 59 million years ago right back to here. And believe it or not, Camla Mountain is the oldest mountain in Ireland. Believe it or not, that's a fact. So that's another wee story for itself as well. On our doorstep here, Jarlath, and the council doesn't talk about it. Ireland's Ancient East doesn't know about it. Well, maybe they do, but they don't want to. But maybe ourselves here, maybe we'll get together and we'll do a wee bit of saber ratting and see, can we get something going.
Damien, listen, you're pushing an open door here, but I'll just end on this point. In jest, I can tell you that when I became a councillor, I had a full head of hair. So there you go.